Hi friends, good morning. This is your Adithya. Welcome to my channel. Today I am going to show you how to write a program to swap the first and last digits of a number in Python. Okay, let's assume that the user has given the input 256. The output will be 652. Okay, now let's see the code. Okay, this is the code. First, let's see what's in the main function. First, we are using the try except method. The try except method does what's in the try block, and if it gets any exceptions, it will do what's in the except block. Let's see what's in the try block. In this statement, we are taking the input from the user using the input function and storing it in a variable called as user input. And we are directly inting it when we ask the input itself. So, if the user enters a number, it will change the number into an integer data type, and if the user enters an alphabet, it will give us a value error exception, and we are handling the value error exception using the except method. Next we are checking whether the user input is less than 10. We are checking it because only if there are at least 2 digits, we can swap the first and last digits. If there are only 1 digit, we can't swap it. So we are checking whether the number is less than or greater than 10. If it is less than 10, it will do what's in the if statement. It will print invalid input. Please enter a number greater than 10. Or else, if the user enters 10 or a number greater than 10, it will do what's in the else statement. In the else statement, we are calling the function swap first last digits and passing the argument as user input. Okay, so the parameters will receive the value and keep the value to num. Okay, so let's assume that num's value is 2657. The num mod 10 returns the remainder of num divided by 10, whose quotient will be 265, and the remainder will be 7, which will be stored to the variable LD, which is the last digit. Next, we are dividing num by 10. So now num's value is 265. Okay. Now we are creating another variable, which is the middle num variable, to store the numbers except the first and last digits. And we are going to find the first number and the middle numbers using the while loop. Now we are checking whether num, whose value is 265, is greater than or less or equal to 10. As 265 is greater than 10, it will execute the while loop. Here we are finding the remainder of num divided by 10 using the modulus operator and assigning it to the variable rem, which means reminder. Next again we are dividing num by 10. So now num's value will be 26. Next we are adding rem and middle num. As rem's value is 5 and middle num's value is an empty string. So now middle num value is 5. Okay. So it will execute it again. As 26 is greater than 10, it will execute the while loop. Next again we are finding the remainder. This time rem's value is 6. Next again we are dividing num by 10. Now num's value is 2. And we are adding rem plus middle num. The before middle num's value is 5. So it will add 6 plus 5, which is 65. So middle num's value is now 65. Next, we are creating another variable called as snum, which is the swapped number. LD, whose value is 7, plus middle number, whose value is 65, plus num, whose value is 2. So we are swapping LD and num and merging them again. Next, at last we are printing the number after swapping the first and last digit is the swapped number. Okay, we are calling the swap first last digits function here and the main function at the last line or here because functions don't execute on their own. So, now let's see the code in action. First I am going to enter the number which we took as an example, 2657. It printed as expected. The number after swapping the first and last digits is 7652. Now let me enter an one digit number, for example 9. This too works. It printed invalid input. Please enter a number greater than 10. Now let me enter the string ABC. This too works as expected. It printed invalid input. So our program works. Thank you and please subscribe.